Dr. Ashley? Pamela? You look great. Especially for a dead woman.
Hello, Jason. I think I've had a change of heart.
Oh,
Quite
me?
literally. The animal plant toxins had a rather unique effect on me. They replaced my blood with aloe, my skin with chlorophyll, and filled my lips. With venom. Oh, and Jason, one other thing. I probably should have mentioned this earlier. I'm poisoned. It's a jungle in here. I am nature's arm. Her spirit. Her will. Hell, I am Mother Nature. And the time has come for plants to take back the world so rightfully ours. Because it's not nice to fool with Mother Nature. Wayne Enterprises. Coming, Dame Darling. We've got a plane to catch.
Oh boy. Woo! That was a lot.
50 episodes, Pete.
Wow!
That clip was a lot, but I love it so much. So.
Wow.
That clip felt like 50 episodes.
Yeah, it did. Welcome back to the show, everybody.
Welcome back.
Oh, Lordy. Listeners out there, my name's Pete.
And I'm Scott. And these are the movies that made us gay.
Yay.
50 episodes of our tacky show.
I can't, yeah.
And we decided to celebrate 50 episodes and have our good friend Dylan Hay-Chapman on to talk about Batman and Robin. You might remember Dylan.
Welcome back to the show, Dylan.
From his Batman Forever episode. So we're doing like the Joel Schumacher.
Oh, that's okay.
We're doing like the Joel Schumacher patron saint of movies that made us gay.
Yes, indeed.
We're going to do Batman and Robin with you.
Oh, my goodness.
So buckle up.
Oh, Dylan, thanks for coming back on the show. Our favorite straight.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, that clip felt like 50 episodes length. That was amazing, though.
It kind of has to start on that.
Every single line of dialogue out of Uma Thurman's mouth.
I wanted to record it all today off the iPad.
The entire movie?
Well, pretty much her entire performance.
We practically have all of it on here as drops. Mm-hmm. It's kind of amazing. I'd listen to this movie as like a radio play. Like
I listen to it in my car when I drive to work.
On a road trip. That'd be fun.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think you would need visuals. They're so expressive. Dylan, did you ever do that when you were a kid? We're old. Did you ever like tape like TV shows or movies so that you could listen to them back like on your shoebox tape recorder?
Yep, I got a 120-minute tapes, and the ones I kept in my little tape box were Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Oh my God.
Which is really hard to get through the first 10 minutes because it's mostly just that prism spinning.
Oh, sure.
And the song, and then waiting for Rufus. And then I had the Star Wars trilogy, the one that matters, and Raising Arizona. Those are the 5.
Wow,
I love that.
Raising Arizona is awesome too, especially when he's during the kidnapping, and all you can hear is like baby noises and him sneaking around. So I would just smile while I was driving with that stupid shit. But yes. Long answer.
I forgot what I did that with as a kid. I know I did it, and I remember thinking that I was like a genius. I was just like, whoever would think of this?
Yeah,
like, nobody would think
did
of
this.
this.
I never did that. But it's a good idea, though.
Because I would go on long car rides to go visit my dad, and he lived about an hour away. So it would be an hour drive there and home, like on the weekends and stuff. So I would have like my little tapes. If I wasn't listening to that, I was listening to like, what did I have on cassette? Like D-Light, like World Click.
New Kids?
I did not have any New Kids on the Block audio tapes. Thank you very much.
You didn't want any of your straight friends at school to see them.
No.
And to call you gay.
No. I just listened intently to Kiss FM for whenever they came on the radio and then shut everybody up. But, okay. Batman and Robin.
Whew.
The real
Robin.
shit.
I mean, I feel like on certain days of the week, this is my favorite Batman movie. Come at me.
Sure.
But I'll sort of like justify it as the podcast goes on.
Okay.
So when did we all first see 1997's Batman and Robin? I'll go first. I remember I was on a road trip with my mom going to her 20-year high school reunion, and we spent the night in Missoula, Montana, where I later went to college, and we went and saw it at the Carmike 7. And I would later become very familiar with the Carmike 7 because we used to go there a lot in college.
Sure.
And I don't know if the Carmike 7 is currently standing.
And your mom went with you to see this movie?
My mom went.
I love that.
My mom took me to go see this. And I remember, I mean, I loved all the Batman movies previously, but this one in particular, I was so fucking jazzed for.
So 11-year-old Scott, you're just like fucking into it.
I was so into it.
This is the best
I got
Batman
these
movie.
pins at the 4th of July parade at the movie theater, which were all of the character posters of this movie. I had Batman, Poison Ivy, and I mean, my first big movie crush, Chris O'Donnell.
Right, Robin.
As Robin. Listen back to our other episode where I talk about kind of my sexual awakening with Chris O'Donnell in that movie.
So I have a question. What organization at the 4th of July parade in Lewistown is handing out...
The movie theater.
Oh, the movie theater.
Yeah, the
they
movie
had
theater.
the buttons.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's right on Main Street, and they were just giving out anything free that they had gotten with the theater.
Nice.
So I had this on my bulletin board in my room, and I was so excited to see it. And then later on the car ride back, I bought the Poison Ivy action figure, and I still have it.
Yes, we do have that.
Dylan, I'll have to break into it later, but I have
the actual one.
I have Uma Thurman's crazy action figure from this movie, and it looks nothing like Uma
She's
Thurman.
very muscular. She's very lean.
She has a very strong neck. I don't think that when they made these action figures, any of these actors were cast.
It looks like she's on like the East German like gymnastics team.
Yes.
Okay. East German women's gymnastics.
But yeah.
Okay.
So I had the action figure. I had the Batgirl action figure, and I was super excited to see Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl. We'll get into that.
Sure.
Because that's an interesting character to look back on. But yeah. But it's one of those things that I knew that it was stupid, but I mean, this is a movie that's just made for 12-year-old boys. Yeah. Like, you don't care. This movie is like essentially a toy commercial fever dream.
Yeah.
On the big screen.
And when you target audience 11-year-old Scott are watching this in the movie theater, are you gagged that it's George Clooney? Are you just like, Val Kilmer was better?
You know,
because you know when you're a kid,
I probably would have said Val Kilmer, or better yet, Michael Keaton was better, because I really did like the 89 and 92 movie.
Sure.
But also this kind of speaks a lot for 12-year-old Scott. I was a huge Uma Thurman fan. Which, what children are, their favorite actress is Uma Thurman?
Sure.
Like, I don't even know if I was even that familiar with Pulp Fiction.
You were fresh off, like, Henry and June and, like, Baron Munchausen. And
but I remembered her from The Truth About Cats and Dogs.
Ah, yes.
And I loved that movie, and I was so excited when they announced her as Poison Ivy, because that's the thing, is that the publicity for this movie, the publicity machine, there was a lot of production coverage of this movie.
Yes.
And I remember being really excited for Uma.
Okay.
And it's still the performance that I look forward to the most in the movie. We'll definitely get into it. And when I eventually got this on VHS, I would just fast forward to the Uma Thurman scenes. Because they were so much fun to watch. And still are fun to watch.
They are. They're the best scenes in the movie.
So I've given my origin story of Schumacher's Batman and Robin. What about you two?
All right. Dylan, when did you first see this movie?
I saw it opening day. It was, I think, the last movie I saw before I moved to Los Angeles.
Oh, wow.
Because I moved on the 4th of July, and I think this came out like the end of June '97. So it was the last movie that I saw before moving at my dun, 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 dun. Remember the Sayufi theaters? Do you remember those?
No.
With the you don't? That was just the chain that we had.
Okay.
What?
This big elaborate opening sequence.
Sure.
I will get it for you.
It's got to be on YouTube.
I wonder
No,
what
just-
theater
there's somebody
chain
out there
just
that had
absorbed that one.
Oh, yeah,
and
for
knows
sure.
that song. Okay.
It's now probably like a Regal or something.
What was the theater name called?
So it was Century Cinemas, but it was owned by a family called Syufy, Syufy.
This is got to be
So-
Reno Regional, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Century Theaters, though, they were bought by somebody. But anyway, I saw it there.
Sure.
I think it was the last one that I saw before I moved. And I just remember thinking, what was there, like 6 summer blockbusters at the time? Like there was one kind of every 2 weeks back then. So I remember being really, really excited about it.
Yeah.
And I remember practicing my Schwarzenegger impression from the trailer. So, that's
Oh my god.
yeah.
And what was your initial
opening
reaction when you saw this movie?
What was my what?
What was your initial reaction when you saw this movie?
Oh, initial reaction. So, I have kind of like a Phantom Menace syndrome
Sure.
where I was like really into it.
Yeah.
And then finally went, wait a second. But I do think I have to agree with a lot of people out there that it has aged well.
Yeah.
I mean,
Definitely.
Yeah.
it was definitely of its time. A total popcorn thrower. All of the dialogue seemed like, are there any real sentences in there?
Yeah.
Cut them out. And it was all just like one saying or buzzword or pun after another. Like a Mad Libs superhero script.
Speaking of Mad Libs, if you want a wild ride on IMDb, check out Akiva Goldsman's screenwriting credits. Like,
Okay.
it's crazy.
Yeah, didn't he go on to win an Academy
he
Award
ended
for
up
screenwriting
winning,
2
he
years
ended
later?
up winning adapted screenplay for A Beautiful Mind.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's
just
crazy.
like all the stuff that he has his hands in. And he had worked with Joel Schumacher on The Client. So they had like this working relationship with each
Okay.
other. And that's kind of where his involvement with the Batman movies came in, was just his working relationship with Joel.
Sure.
Because I think that, so Batman Forever happened, they made The Client, and then Batman and Robin.
That's a good trilogy of movies right there.
Right? One definitely says something about just the weird range that Joel Schumacher has that he doesn't give a lot of credit for.
Yeah.
You can go from like Batman Forever, a Grisham thriller that ends up getting Susan Sarandon a random Oscar nomination,
Yeah.
and then Batman and Robin.
Yeah, I just picture Joel Schumacher, aside from Batman movies, I just picture like Lost Boys and Flatliners.
Mm-hmm.
Just that like moonlit, atmospheric kind of imagery.
Yeah.
I saw this, I don't think it was opening day, but it was probably opening weekend. I saw it with my mom and my sister and my younger brother, who is your age, Scott. So he was 12 when it came out. And I remember being into Batman Forever when it came out, but then having it on VHS because I had a younger sibling who was super into it and watching it over and over again, just thinking, oh, this is getting crazy. And then when this one came out, seeing it and just feeling like, oh man, that is just like one step above Power Rangers. Like it is like one, as soon as they clicked their little heels and
their little skates
the
come
ice
out.
skates came out, I was like, oh boy, I'm
There's no
checked
skates
out.
like home.
Yeah, and that was in the first scene. I was like, are you kidding me?
Clooney rides down a goddamn dinosaur
He yabba dabba
in
doos.
one of
all
his
the way-
big introduction of this movie.
That was a 90s trope though. Like Tarzan, the animated Tarzan, he has to snowboard. Even Batman and Robin said something like about Surf's Up. How did you know the doors were going to turn into skyboards?
Yeah,
But they did. Like
it gave him a chance to
much of
say
it is
cowabunga.
Like I don't know the word I'm looking for.
No, yeah, it's
Foretold.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there was like some of the stunt work. Yeah, that whole extreme sports were just like coming into like being a thing at the time, and so yeah, snowboarding, skateboarding, these crazy like just stunt work.
And I did have the action figure of Robin on the hoverboard thing that they fly down from the goddamn rocket ship.
The piece of broken door from the rocket ship.
The door.
Yeah.
That like was shot into the sky from the art gallery.
In his little Mr. Freeze car that also had a rocket ship on the back of it. I mean, come on.
So before we get too into it, just to kind of give a little background of the movie, we don't have to get too into it because I talk about the background of Batman Forever. But Batman Forever, surprisingly, for being this huge movie, was kind of a weird underdog for Warner Brothers. I don't think a lot of people thought it was going to be successful. So they really had to kind of knock down doors for advertising, for toy companies to get this movie off the ground. And then Batman Forever like crosses $200 million at the box office. And then all of a sudden, everybody wants a follow-up. And Warner Brothers fast-tracked this movie. Super quick turnaround. And they were developing toys before any of the movie had even shot.
Yeah.
So they had to give... Who does the Batman action figures?
I think it was Kenner.
Kenner?
It was Kenner at the time, yeah.
So Kenner had to review the script. They had to put in more ideas for toys.
Yeah.
For this already very stacked movie. And this movie shot in September of 96 and finished January of 97. They caught Clooney as he was making ER. So he was working 7 days a week. They would get him like Friday through Tuesday, and then he would do the rest of the week on ER.
Sure.
And it was finished in 97, and then it was.
I mean, he's got an island in Italy to buy.
I mean, this
when
was,
you've got your sights set on like
this was like 96 Clooney. I mean, he was a big deal, but he wasn't the Titan that he is now.
Sure.
Like, if anything, the casting for Batman would have been you're doing the guy from ER. Like, I think it would have been a little questionable at the time, even though he was
Caruso.
this like yeah.
But well, he did the David Caruso, the jump
yeah.
from big show to big feature, and it looked like it was going to be the same result for a while.
Oh, David Caruso.
So yeah, this movie premiered in LA June 12th, 1997, and went on to its general release in June 20th. It made $238 million against a production budget of $125 to $160. Probably it came over just under $1 million in domestic receipts, and it just got this really bad reputation. And part of it was that the movie was so overly hyped. There was just so many cooks in this kitchen of people trying to make this movie, and it just sort of snowballed to something crazy that I kind of am all about, but I can see the onlooker of this movie just being like, no thanks.
Yeah. Because it was like unintentional. Well, I don't know if it was unintentional, but I mean, it's a camp classic at this point. Because like the people that are in it kind of understand what it is as far as how over the top and crazy, and like Uma Thurman's line deliveries, and Arnold. I feel like Arnold knows exactly what movie he's in with all of his like crazy like pun work.
The Iceman cometh.
Please, show some mercy.
Mercy? I'm afraid that the condition has left me cold to your pleas of mercy.
Was Iceman created for the animated series? Or was he his own character?
Freeze?
Mr. Freeze, I'm sorry, Iceman.
Mr. Freeze, no, he's a pretty classic character, one of the main villains for Batman. Yeah.
I think it was the storyline with his wife and McGregor syndrome that came from the animated series then.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't know that.
Yeah,
but
I think
McGregor, there's a producer on it named McGregor, so I wasn't sure if that they were just kind of messing with that guy. But
I'm feeling like the story with Mrs. Freeze.
Vendela,
yes.
Is that who it is?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Swedish supermodel Vendela. in this tank for like.
I mean, they had
99% of her scenes.
They had to get a cast made for her, I think. I don't think that's actually her. I think
it is a beautiful.
I think it's a cast.
It is a beautiful prosthetic Vendela. Mm-hmm. Like it's a Vendela love doll. It's in this like floating in this tank. But yeah, I feel like one of the big things at the time was because the animated series was so like well received by Batman fans, by comic book fans, by the general public, that when we found out that Mr. Freeze was going to be in it, everybody was stoked. Like, oh yeah, that character's really cool. He's so cool in the TV show, like dark and mysterious and all that. And people were like, oh, it's got to be Patrick Stewart. Like all this, all this speculation. And then it's Arnold. And then we get this costume. And then we get the puns. It's just like a snowball effect, if you will, of, disappointment.
So Chris O'Donnell says on the Blu-ray that he never really worked with Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's all his double. So if it's a shot that's clearly Arnold's face, if it's not a shot like that, it's probably not him. Because Arnold has one of those doubles that looks exactly like him.
I believe that. I had a friend that worked on a couple of Arnold movies back then and sort of told me what the culture was like, because that was like the ripping peak of his stardom.
Yeah.
And every movie's an Arnold movie, and clearly he's got top billing over Batman. So
yeah, that's crazy.
I totally believe that Arnold was there for his close-ups, and then I think Sven was his double. Yeah, look it up. I think it's amazing. Sven. But yeah, I'm certain that he was suited up for anything less than a medium shot.
That's crazy because I had heard stories of that, on T2 and I think on this. But then you're watching the special features and there's Chris O'Donnell saying, I didn't have any scenes with him. And there's a lot of scenes with me standing right next to him in this movie. And it's in the special features, so it's like, okay, they're fully. I think they even had a close up shot of the double guy, yeah, and he looked exactly like him.
And Joel said that he got his first choice for all of the actors in the movie, and he claims Arnold Schwarzenegger claims that Joel didn't want to do the movie if they didn't get him signed on, which he was probably just blowing smoke up his ass.
Of course. I mean, yeah, he was the biggest star in the world at the time, right?
It makes sense that he has top billing, too, I guess. As bizarre as it is.
Yeah. So, yeah, I feel like I'm not going to say he's miscast because I feel like those puns are amazing. But it was a surprise to the general public, to movie watchers, right? I mean, I know I was just kind of thinking, this is weird. Dylan, do you remember that? Like just feeling like it was not the right fit?
Yeah, that he was sort of, I guess, Arnold deciding to be a side character.
Yeah.
Even though he's a main villain, he's not the focus. Despite how much he's in the film, looking at, getting sad. But he's a side man.
Yeah.
In the whole thing, and still gets top billing.
Yeah.
I said it twice. But it was kind of a shock, not a breath of fresh air, kind of a shock.
I remember the entertainment shows, Entertainment Tonight, and Extra, and all those shows.
I don't know that song.
I'm not familiar. They calculated based on his. Did he get $20 million for this?
I'm sure he got something obscene.
I feel like Arnold got like $20 million or something, and then calculating it based on his lines and how many words he got, and all how many hundreds of thousands of dollars it was per word or per line, because he's not in the movie that much. And then there's that weird scene. I don't know, Dylan, if you just watched it or not, how recently you watched it. There's a scene where Mr. Freeze gets captured, and Batman. It's kind of stylistic the way they do it. It's like a close up of Clooney jumping towards him, and then the cape, and then the cape pulls up, and he's paralyzed, on the ground, just staring off into space. I was like, is he dead? Did he what? It was so weird. Yeah, it's so weird.
Yeah.
Some of the choices in this are so crazy.
Maybe it was a hard scene to block.
I guess.
Was he captured before or after he thought that Poison Ivy had killed his wife?
This was before, because Poison Ivy breaks him out of Arkham.
She breaks him out and she tells him. And she gives him the necklace and
right.
all that. Yeah. Yeah, it's before that. It's really weird when he does get captured, too. It's kind of out of nowhere. So they're throwing curveballs at you in this movie.
Can we go back to his costume for a second?
Oh, yes. This costume.
So, the peekaboo muscles.
Yeah.
So it's lasers keeping him cold, but it is very important that we see the meatiest cuts.
Yeah.
You got to show off those pecs.
Yeah.
The meatiest.
Which obviously makes sense, but it was like super bold choices. Everything in this movie. I just wanted to mention, like, there was 3/4 of an inch of space between his body and the costume.
Yes.
Which made him, I mean, how did he even move in that thing? It's like wearing an iron lung.
Yeah. A polymimetic alloy.
Do you have a phase plasma rifle with a 40-watt range?
Hey, only what you see. His that like crazy like glittery makeup job on him.
That was pretty good.
Really
And
cool.
The
Yeah.
contacts.
Because there's some really extreme close-ups of his skin.
It reads nice on camera.
Yeah, it reads really cool. Because it looks
very good.
it looks like glittery and like crystalline.
I mean, this is a movie made with bold choices. You're right, Dylan. It's just like, this is a singular vision that Warner Brother was like, here's a blank check, Joel Schumacher.
Yeah.
Make the most over-the-top, family-friendly Batman movie that you can. That's the other thing, is that they were given the direction of, we don't want a dark movie. We want this to be for kids, and we want to sell shit with it. Also, I should mention that Schumacher has mentioned that he wanted to do an adaptation of Year One. So after Batman Forever, he wanted to start clean and do like an adaptation of Frank Miller's Year One, and Warner Brothers vetoed that.
Wow.
That would have been yeah. That would have been a severely truncated version, because I don't know how that would have worked.
So it's like he tried to do the darker Batman movie, but the studio didn't go for it.
This is more fun.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So should we talk about the introduction of Poison Ivy?
Okay.
I am obsessed with her performance in this movie. It's like, from the moment she steps on screen, she is just chewing through scenery.
Yeah.
She's looking like she's having the time of her life.
Okay, so I kind of want to bring us back a little bit, because I feel like starting with Selina Kyle.
Sure.
You know, Catwoman has a scene where she becomes Catwoman. And it's like her big moment. It's the big reveal and the costume and everything. And starting from there, in all the movies, there were these scenes, and they got crazier and crazier.
We have to give how they got their superpowers.
Yeah.
And also with, like, Selina Kyle, it's vaguely supernatural, too.
Yeah, it's magic. The cats bite her back to life.
Yeah.
And then in the last movie, Batman Forever, Riddler. Riddler has a little intro scene, with the, mind computer nonsense and throwing Ed Begley Jr. out of the window. Nigma! You're fired!
Back to work, Nigma.
Oh, boy. And then this scene, we've got Pamela and this, like, South American jungle cruise, like...
So this is like
Mayan temple.
This is like a Wayne Enterprises offshoot in the Amazon jungle. I really don't know what they're doing there.
They're looking for poisons and toxins. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming they're doing some sort of
Lionel Luthor.
Yes, with Lionel Luthor. I'm assuming they're doing some sort of like medical. Maybe they're trying to find a cure for cancer or something. But Lionel Luthor.
McGregor syndrome.
There you go.
That would have been. Why wasn't it that?
It should have been that. Oh man,
Bruce is making them work super hard on McGregor syndrome. He already knows that Alfred is sick.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to show like Bruce like working Alfred to the bone, so he can have that like that scene with Alfred. Doctor, what's the doctor's name? But he pulls in this like Dr. Evil panel of like the Ununited Nations. This is where it straight up turns into Adam West Batman territory.
His reaction to the word poison. Like that's the breaking point. Not that he's feeling it, not that he's suffering from it, just hearing that it's a possibility.
Poison. All of their acting choices, all of their styling. He's got like the crazy mad scientist hair with like white streaks, like electrified hair.
I love Uma's mad scientist, but make it fashion.
Yes, it's very like jungle scientist, but make it fashion. And then she's like hoochie villainess, but make it fashion.
Can I talk about her eyebrows?
Oh!
In 4K.
I can talk about her eyebrows. Go on.
They did hair appliance eyebrows that went up her forehead. Did you notice that?
Oh yes.
Mm-hmm. So yeah.
In which costumes? Because there were several.
Which look are we talking about?
Yeah.
Now? Are you talking about the iconic last look?
Going on. I think her final look.
Yeah.
Before she is caught by her own trap.
So I'm
pretty sure. Yeah, go ahead.
They just gave Uma Thurman drag makeup because that's straight up drag eyebrows. Those are Valentina eyebrows from RuPaul's Drag Race.
Sure. So yeah, but also they do that thing where it's bits of like it's an appliance, right? Like you're saying, like prosthetic pieces on top.
I think they're drawn in.
Well, there's two.
Yeah.
There's some that are actual
Sure.
pieces that are like glued onto her face. But there's the one where you're talking about where she's got the Sporty Spice, the Scary Spice hair, the two like big red buns, and those she's got the Divine eyebrows that are like all the way up to her hairline, and those have like individual hairs like feathered in with like an eyebrow pencil. Yeah.
But
that's very Valentina.
But that's what's so brilliant about it is that this was a time before drag was mainstream. I mean, drag wouldn't become really mainstream until seasons into RuPaul's Drag Race. So just the general public really didn't have references for any of this. And I would be curious to ask Uma, like, was Divine or any drag queens inspirations when you were doing this character?
Well, I think her delivery is
Eartha Kitt,
yeah,
too.
Without the purring and the growling, it's Eartha Kitt delivery.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a lot of Mae West in there.
Yes. Oh. Why don't you come up and see me sometime, Batman?
Why don't you come up and pollinate my pustules? Pestils? Stamen.
I can't remember the anatomy. That might be the male side.
Yeah, who knows? But she's also fully wearing, like at one point, the costume that she's in. It's a very simple version of the Poison Ivy costume. It's pretty much just the Julie Newmar Catwoman suit,
but in green.
With the low waist, same, belt,
same sort of texture. It's like a big jumpsuit.
Yeah. So they're taking so much from the 60s TV show, which is crazy because the Burton movies, so much was there was so much press about how far away they were going in tone from those, and then here we are, like a couple movies later, right back into that that style. But I love the Adam West Batman TV series. We own the whole thing. I watch it all the time. It's so much fun. But yeah, like you were saying, Dylan, about the line, the script being very clipped. When they first
disjointed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. When they're first driving off to the museum, and Commissioner Gordon calls Batman. There's a new villain. He's calling himself Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze.
Like what?
Yeah. Everything is so self-aware off the bat.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but it's like full commitment to the camp with the hockey sequence. Like playing hockey by the rules is suddenly important while you're fighting the bad guys. And the fact that everybody is agreed to play hockey. Like, nobody stops and just starts cutting people in half.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, well, we're on offense.
Yeah. Playing by the right. I never thought of that, but they're fully like, well, I guess it's a hockey game now. So
It's a hockey game.
And they appear to be on rollerblades, too.
Are they on rollerblades
Yeah, they're on
as well
rollerblades.
as ice skates?
Yeah.
I find it interesting that that Gotham City at one time has so many comically oversized princess cut diamonds. In one,
They're just growing on trees in Gotham.
like those diamonds are so huge, and some jeweler had to come in and like cut all of these into like this fabulous. Is that a princess cut? I think I'm not a jeweler, and I've never bought a diamond ring.
I mean, that's like a Looney Tunes diamond right there.
I think it's a Stamen cut.
And they all fit perfectly in the telescope too. Like you just drop them in.
Each one is the right size for this freezing machine. And I mean, I guess the whole idea with diamonds and Mr. Freeze, did people call diamonds ice in the 90s?
That feels very 60s too.
Yes.
Iced out.
Iced out gear.
Yeah.
Y'all. What about Freeze's just his little port for inserting diamonds? Like
He just
down
has
the head.
Yeah.
just a little like iris opening, and then it just closes. And he's got it for various sizes of diamonds. Well, this is I just need a couple of diamonds, just a few, just a handful of diamonds.
And he powers his suits through diamonds. That doesn't seem very economical.
This is not cost effective whatsoever.
It's not very cost effective. You are a scientist after all.
Maybe this is why his lair has to be in this abandoned ice cream factory.
Oh my God, the abandoned ice cream factory! I love it. I love that shit.
But what if the only
he wouldn't hide in an ice cream factory?
What if the only abandoned factory in Gotham City at the time that was available for evil real estate was like the abandoned like heater factory?
Sure.
Or like the abandoned stove. The abandoned stove.
You just turn the heat duct out, and
there you go.
Get cold,
and then it turns
so
to cold.
You're good.
That's how that works.
I would love to see a Gotham real estate agent showing all of Gotham's villains their
potential layers.
He calls it his hideout. He says
my hideout.
So Poison Ivy, I have this really beautiful abandoned Turkish bath. I'm gonna show you now. Take in mind when we go in, you have to use your imagination because you just have to think what we're gonna do to it. It has a lot of potential.
All the black lights,
raised beds.
All the black lights are included.
Owner.
There is the resident Dayglow gang that resides there, but we'll figure that out.
They're squatting. We can get them out.
You have like your muscles Bane guide too, so yeah, problem solved.
Oh man, Bane, we haven't even mentioned Bane.
What a weird combo.
Oh boy. But every Poison Ivy action figure comes complete with him.
But she needs the muscle. It's like she's not gonna be like fighting these superheroes by herself. She needs somebody to do her beating.
Sure.
Yeah.
Was Bane in the comics in the 90s wearing a Lucha Libre mask?
I think the Lucha Libre mask is sort of standard.
Yeah, it's kind of right.
What year did Nightfall come out? Wasn't that Bane's big issue where he broke Batman's back?
Yeah, that's
that was
right.
probably like mid-90s.
And Jean-Paul Valley or whatever took over. Yeah, Azrael. Yeah, that was 93.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember.
I like little skinny Bane.
Yeah, he's like a gutter punk.
He's like a little wimp.
Mm-hmm.
The transformation was awesome.
It actually was. I noticed.
I was shocked by that.
Yeah,
that was pretty good.
There's early full body CGI in this movie when you get Batman and Robin flying out of the rocket.
Surfing
out of the rocket. I mean, that wasn't done in movies that often, was full-bodied CG characters. This was like the year that Titanic came out, and Titanic had some questionable full CGI people in that movie.
Sure.
I was surprised at how inconspicuous the CGI was in this.
I mean,
it could have been way more obvious.
Right.
It was pretty good.
It was a pretty tight post work on this movie. It finished in January and it came out in June.
Wow.
And
Way to go, Rhythm and Hughes.
Yeah. And there was a lot of practical effects, too.
A lot of model work.
I do think that the miniatures for Gotham City were kind of amazing, though.
I agree.
And the Schumacher Gotham City, I think, is super underrated of the world that his crazy movie takes place in. It's very something that you had never seen before in a movie.
Yeah, for sure.
I want to add to that. Some of the sets were so complicated that I had a hard time understanding what the scenery was. I don't know if you guys felt that way.
Are you talking about
like the movie in general? Like everything. There was a level of complication to almost everything, from Freeze's suit to everything inside of the museum,
the observatory being held up.
Chase. There was just so much like visual debris.
Yes.
I had a hard time tracking what was going on.
Oh, you never know what to look at.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know if it's a bad thing, but it was there.
It's it works more in Batman Forever, but in this movie, it goes so overboard that at times it is a bit much.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about this movie, is that it's just so over-designed. There's so much going on in this movie that we are going to make the biggest Batman movie you've ever seen. And it's going to be over 2 hours long.
Yeah.
That's the thing about this movie, is that this motherfucker is long.
It is long. And it feels long.
Mm-hmm.
Like
it feels
it's just over 2 hours, but like you're definitely.
And they cut a lot of shit from this movie. Like there was whole subplots with Elle Macpherson that they lifted out.
Oh.
I guess that when they cast Elle Macpherson and they filmed her character, she had a whole subplot, and she had a fight with Ivy.
Julie Madison.
Mm-hmm.
You've been dating Bruce Wayne for 2 years. When is he going to pop the question?
Julie Madison in this fabulous weave.
I did not care for this hair.
Mm-hmm.
It did not look real. It did not look luxurious enough to be billionaire Playboy Bruce Wayne
in this pink
arm candy,
in this pink business suit
this
that they give her,
satin like business suit that's like Ally McBeal skirt. No.
So they lifted all of her scenes of this movie, and I can probably see why.
I think at this point there should have been a subplot with Bruce Wayne and Gossip Gertie, where they finally reveal their long-standing affair.
Mm-hmm.
That's how Gossip Gertie's getting all of her scoops.
She has to be getting all this intel from someone.
Yeah, Alfred. Gossip Gertie would have been a good Aunt Harriet substitution. Remember Aunt Harriet?
Of course.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Was Aunt Harriet Dick Grayson's aunt? Whose aunt is she?
I don't know.
I think she's Dick's aunt. Sure. Yeah, but if she was Dick's aunt, then why would he need to be Bruce Wayne's ward? Doesn't make a lot of sense.
I think it's Bruce's aunt.
Sure.
I want to talk about relatives. I'm trying not to get bogged down in the details, but Barbara Gordon, Barbara shows up to see her uncle, and there's even a line where she tucks him in and he says, "Oh, that's quite a switch." And I'm thinking, when has he ever tucked her in?
Bruce Wayne has no idea who she is. So
you guys thought of that too.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
And it's one of those holdovers from the Burton movies, that the Burton movies sort of exist in this world where the 80s meet the 1940s. And I think this is when the Schumacher movies try to do that, and it's just not as successful. Because when you hear her talk about her mother or Alfred's sister, that it's a glamour shot of Gloria Stewart from like the 1930s. So it's like, what? Like, where does that come from? And I think that's where kind of that's a remnant from, was when kind of this mixture of the decades that were in the Burton movies.
Sure. I think the photograph of Barbara's mother that is clearly this like 1930s silent film era,
or it's like a
publicity photo.
This is like a Warner contract shot.
Yeah,
for Gloria Stewart.
Either Barbara Gordon is like in her late 60s,
and I believe,
or her mother had her
So-
when she was 75.
and she's not Barbara Gordon. She's
No, she's Barbara Pennyworth.
Barbara Pennyworth.
Pennyworth.
Is it Pennyworth? Yeah.
Because traditionally she's Commissioner Gordon's daughter.
Right. The commish.
Yes, and she goes on to become. She gets shot by the Joker and becomes the Oracle, right?
Right.
Later on,
The wheelchair.
wheelchair bound.
Pete and I love Batgirl scenes on the 60s TV show, too. She's on season 3.
Yes.
They're some of my favorite episodes.
Costume's great, too.
The costume is so awesome.
So, kind of what I like about this character is that you do have to remember that female superheroes were not done a lot. So, I mean, before this, it was just Supergirl. So, at least they were attempting to give a female superhero. It may not work, which a lot of the times it does not in this movie, but at least there was an attempt. And that something like stuff like that really wasn't done a lot.
Yeah. I think the casting was right for the time because she was so like hot off Clueless, and she was just this like big like it actress.
And what's interesting about looking back on Alicia's career is that outside of Clueless, I mean, she was just kind of this B-movie actress. I mean, she was in The Babysitter, which was, I mean, pretty much a straight-to-video movie. The Crush, which was just sort of a sleeper indie movie.
Yeah.
But she hadn't done a lot of big studio movies outside of Clueless.
Was she in Blast from the Past with Brendan Fraser?
And that was
Yeah.
99.
Blast to the ass.
Bunker.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. We watched this the other night, and Scott, you said when we were watching this, is she just a bad actress?
Yeah,
Did
that's
I just
the
not? Did I
thing.
just not know? Is she just not good?
Is that I mentioned on our Clueless episode, so much of Cher Horowitz is catered to her as a person. That's just sort of it just kind of is built around her personality that I don't know if just at this time you just give her the script and just be like, okay, Alicia, action.
Yeah.
And this is kind of what you
I was
get.
kind of shocked how long it took her to get words out.
Yes.
Like, very slow delivery. It's of its time.
Well, also, too, I didn't know if maybe she kind of had this self-aware thing where she was delivering these lines in a very arch or campy kind of a way.
Oh, I don't think
or
so.
if it's just, maybe it's just her.
Since my parents died, I guess all the speed and danger helped take me out of myself. Made the pain go away. You wouldn't understand.
You'd be surprised.
Well, street racing isn't exactly an acceptable major at Oxbridge, so they kicked me out. But it doesn't matter because I've already won all the money I need to do what I've always dreamed.
Well, just don't tell me you want to run off and join the circus.
Alfred has supported me my whole life, and I'm going to pay him back. I'm going to take him away from this dismal life of servitude.
What are you talking about?
Listen, this whole master-servant thing, it's really ridiculous. Alfred is the sweetest, most noble man alive, and he has subjugated all his life and dreams to someone else.
Alfred and Bruce are like family.
Paying someone to prepare your meals, do your laundry, clean your dishes, you call that family?
Alfred's happy.
Happy? You honestly don't know, do you? I was hiding the pain all the time. Alfred's sick.
It almost reads as a screen test.
That's some Attack of the Clones level like scene work right there.
Alicia, we love you. We spend a whole episode talking about how much we adore your performance in Clueless, but I don't know about this one.
I think she said subjugated. I don't think
subjugated.
I don't think that's a word.
I think Dick's defense of Alfred is like we could have cleared that up right there. Well, he's basically Bruce's dad. Not. He doesn't do laundry or whatever he says. I don't remember.
It's a little like no, my nanny loves working for us.
Yeah, it's not a defense of the situation, and it's not even an explanation of reality.
Yeah. I love that she comes straight from Oxbridge. Oxbridge High, where she apparently Oxbridge burns all of your street clothes. They kicked her out, and they're like, "No, it's like a jail." Just like they lock her out in her uniform. Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
She comes in her sexy schoolgirl outfit.
Comes in the sexy school uniform, and then when she gets to Wayne Manor, which is a mansion like the size of like the Mall of America,
it's infinite.
She walks up to the front door and starts looking for a key above like the door jamb. Like this mansion would just have a spare
Joe
key.
Polnicek.
Yeah. Just like that's how we do it back in the old neighborhood.
This is a very Joel from Facts of Life type of character.
Like, what the fuck kind of mansion is just like? Well, if you get locked out, there's always a spare key. Look for the rock.
I mean, that's
it
how
was in her electronic mail message.
I mean, that's how those bling ring kids broke into Paris's house.
Well, look who's a master of security. Yep. Yeah, she got an electronic mail on her American Online account.
You've got mail.
Do you have American Online? Yeah, so Barbara Pennyworth is amazing. She looks weird in a lot of scenes.
Do you think that the idea was that she would wear the cowl for the scenes where she's Batgirl and it was just so uncomfortable they had to have her throw it on the ground as soon as she took off the helmet?
She takes that cowl off her head and throws it on the ground. But we also have to talk about the fact that, like, Alfred, who is designing these clothes, somehow got like a laser scan of her body to make this.
He 3D
uniform.
printed her the Batgirl.
But we are to assume that this like Max Headroom Alfred like AI took it upon itself to create the costume for her, because I thought that you might, be interested in this. And never once did he think, no, teenage, underage, minor niece, even though you want to become Batgirl after you found the Batcave. I found the Batcave, Uncle Alfred. Maybe it may not be in your best interest to actually do that.
Well, what you want to do is not necessarily what you're gonna do.
Oh, she's doing it.
Yeah. So his like crazy Alfred Headroom like AI made it for her upon its own like volition. Yeah, Alfred has much more to do than laundry at Wayne Manor. He's like, I think he built the Batmobile himself.
He's building cars
like with his own two hands.
He's like upkeeping that garage that tunnel where the Batmobile goes out.
Yeah, that's why his McGregor syndrome's so like advanced.
Mm-hmm.
He's like being worked to the bone. There's costume. There's bat suit changes in this movie. There's multiple bat suits for all of them. They all wear at least two.
Well, they have to change into their new shiny one in the third act.
Why though?
I don't know.
So you could have two action figures.
Mm-hmm, exactly. And they always put the cool one on the poster, so you were so excited to see it in the last act of the movie.
I like Robin's suit that he wears for most of the movie, with the red Robin symbol in the front that goes like up. The wings go up to his shoulders.
The Nightwing suit.
Nightwing suit. I really like that suit. I don't like the silver accented bat suits. And I was telling Scott yesterday when we were watching this, the height of Batman's ears in this movie, it's like a yardstick. It looks like a Mad Magazine caricature of Batman. Like, they are so high. He probably has to like duck under doorways.
They went big.
They went so crazy big.
It was an exaggeration. Like, all of the, I think Schumacher wanted Alicia to be just as sexy as the men, so maybe that's why the cowl came off. Like, he didn't want her to look ridiculous for too long.
Yeah.
So it might have even been him. Like, get that off and let's do it without it.
And Schumacher mentions about the nipples.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
He mentions about the nipples that like there was so much said about the nipples, and when they were designing the Batgirl suit, he was just like, well, I cannot not put them on because it'd be like a double standard, and people would call me sexist. So she still has nipples, but they're just a little more less pronounced.
Wait, the Batgirl boobies have nipples?
A little bit.
Oh my!
It's a little more subtle.
Oh my!
I didn't care at the time. It didn't really bother me.
Me too. I didn't think about it. It wasn't just like, why are those there? It was just, that's what the suits look like.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're muscle suits. Okay. Superheroes. But yeah, I feel like every director is going to kind of come in, because I feel after the first Captain America movie, he's got this chin strap, and Joss Whedon came in for Avengers and was just, get that fucking chin strap off there. And he took it off.
Oh, yeah.
And he doesn't have it
And
again.
He never put it back on.
Well, they put it back when Russo brothers put it back when he wore the old first Avengers suit in Civil War, but Winter Soldier, I mean. But yeah, it's just like it's just at the discretion of the director. Just be like, no, I don't like that. Get rid of it. But I think Batgirl with like the hair coming out, like the cowl is just weird, because the Batgirl character always has the long hair like flowing. And so, but these like hard rubber or whatever they are, not rubber, but whatever these costumes are made of, it would just not, I don't know. It's like that thing in comic book movies where the characters have a cowl and it looks rigid, but when they take it off because they have to take it off, it's like fabric. Like in the Avengers when Captain America doesn't have his cowl on, and it's just like a hoodie made of like fabric, but when you put it on over your head, it's rigid.
What about Michael Keaton's when he rips it off?
Yeah.
It's like it's rubber, like he's ripping open a toilet plunger.
Yeah.
So I guess it's whatever they need it to be.
And they also have the split-second shot of him wearing it, and he doesn't have the like eye black,
eye makeup.
Oh yeah,
it's underneath.
Gone. The Chewbacca.
Yeah. So there's a split-second shot of him with the hood on and no eye black, and you're just like, whoa. When you really, because I mean, as a kid, just watching these over and over again, I may have needed a pastime as a preteen.
I have a note here about sets. Can I throw this in?
Sure, yes, please.
Well, you're saying yes because you haven't heard it yet.
I take it back.
So I wish that when the set designer was working on this, and they were like, we want the skyline to be the moment that the giant statues were mentioned.
Yeah.
I am picturing a Tom of Finland with an engineering scale right next to it. Make it 400 feet tall and just put it right in there. I'm just, I wish.
I mean,
I wish. It's awesome.
The observatory, which is just like a crazy muscle dude holding
up the observatory. That's what I was mentioning before.
Over a chasm.
Yeah.
Like, this is probably not the most, like...
I don't know if that's how physics work.
Yeah. Some sort of crazy cantilevers. Yeah, inside the arms. Yeah. It's all hidden in the musculature.
The city planner for Gotham is pretty flamin'.
Yeah. This is some crazy shit.
Mm-hmm.
But was it the arm that they drove down in the chase? So, so that arm is really big, and nobody falls. None of the cars fall off.
No, yeah.
This outward convex curve thing.
Through the palm.
Giant microbus.
Yeah. Don't each of them, like, jump off of a different finger?
Yeah.
Off the hand.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah. It's crazy. Because the hand is, like, outstretched, like a big open... Yeah,
I love that shot of Robin when he's like yelling into the sky. And this is like also when the sort of the homosexual undertones of this movie is the back and forth fighting and daddy issues of Batman and Robin. It's like, it's like this is some like father-son issues going on here, fantasy.
Well, I mean, for the purpose of the movie, they're fighting over Poison Ivy that they both are in love with, or just Dick. Because I feel like Bruce kind of she has her like poison pheromones, like pheromone dust. But I feel like they do this little effect where it looks like Bruce always like breathes it away.
Yeah.
So he doesn't really
like
get
sniffs
affected
it away.
by it.
Yep.
Yeah. But Dick Grayson is definitely falling for it.
We have to talk about Uma Thurman's introduction to Batman and Robin. I mean, you can really tell this movie was directed by somebody, a seasoned homosexual that would like go to Studio 54 and would like hobnob with Diane von Furstenberg and
Liza
and who else was his fashion bestie? Halston. Yeah. And just how they stage Uma's introduction, which is an homage to Marlene Dietrich, right? Or is it Greta Garbo? Taking off the monkey suit?
Yeah. Either or.
Oh.
Is that when they start bidding on her?
The monkey.
Yeah.
Hi there.
And you are...
Poison. Poison ivy. Why not send Junior home early? I've got some wild oats to sow. On the other hand, youth does have its advantages. Endurance, stamina. Forget the geriatric bat. Come, join me. My garden needs tending. I'll take it from here, pal.
Wouldn't you like the earrings too?
Some lucky boy's about to hit the honeypot. I'll include an evening of my company for the winner. I'll bring everything you see here, plus everything you don't.
I bid $50,000 for poison ivy. $100,000. And I'm in you $500,000.
$1 million.
$2 million.
You don't have it. $3 million.
I'll borrow it from you. $4 million.
$5 million.
That's a utility bill, not a money bill. It's $6 million.
$7 million. Never leave the cave without it.
You two boys aren't going to start fighting over little old me now, are you?
What was the credit card?
Bat Express, Bat Visa.
Yeah.
So
Mastercard.
So the movie that
That's charge.
the movie that it was referencing is called Blonde Venus, and it's Marlene Dietrich in the monkey outfit, in the gorilla in the gorilla
Get it
suit.
right.
Yep.
Primate rights.
I
love
thought it was
that.
Indecent Proposal.
I do want to mention that on his Batster charge or Batmerican Batspress or whatever it was, it said expiration date. It said like forever.
Forever.
Yeah. So stupid. So stupid. And it looked like cardboard. It just looked like such a prop.
I mean, this movie is not subtle.
No. This date auction, it's a date auction, whatever this event is. It's like jungle themed, and just like the entertainment that they have are these like, well, there's like acrobats and all that, and they're dressed in these like jungle like themed costumes, and there's fully like Tarzan men just like walking around. These like oiled up beefcake Tarzan men,
and they end up catching her.
Everybody's just so mesmerized by her like poison pheromones. So Bruce must be falling for it because he's bidding millions of dollars.
He does in the moment, and then he rejects it once the evening's over.
$1 million. $1 million. $1 million.
$1997.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess it's part of her like evil chemicals, right? No sane person would bid that much. I do also love we don't have clips from her scenes as Pamela.
I do.
Pamela
it's
Isley.
there.
Where she confronts Bruce and Gossip Gertie with her plan.
I have her when she's walking away, and it's one of my favorite scenes in the movie because she's monologuing.
Yes.
And I love a good monologue in a movie where you're getting the master plan.
Her delivery of that failed experiment is off the hook.
Yeah.
Rats! My experiment to make the Dendronium orchid and the South American rattlesnake
No,
failed
this is the
again.
opening one.
But I still have high hopes for the animal-plant crossbreedings.
Well, she did say
Only find the correct dose of venom.
she did say rats when she started that off.
That's the clip where that's like a drag race. That's like a drag race challenge where they're given like a script. Like, here's the scene that you're playing.
Yeah, for
you're a mad drag scientist.
Booberella.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're a Booberella. And your plan has just been foiled. Oh, man. Yeah, I feel like Uma Thurman Arnold.
She fully, and Arnold know
Yeah.
exactly the type of movie that they're in.
Yes, for sure. And I mean, that's cool. I'm down.
I'm living for it.
Yeah, I feel like George Clooney knows and is not happy about it.
And just
And
looks
you can
kind of
tell.
bored.
Yeah, he's just like he's shaking. He's giving this to the Clooney head shake, but for the most part, I'm not really feeling it. What he's selling to me. Alicia, I don't know.
Yeah,
I think she's in it to win it, but it's just not really coming off.
she's in a little over her head in this movie.
Yes, I think John Glover, Doctor
John Glover's great.
Dr. Woodrow. He knows what movie he's in. He's camping it up. But yeah. Oh, and Vivica.
Vivica A. Fox. Did you notice Vivica A. Fox, Dylan?
It is Ms. B, the letter B, last name Haven. Ms. B. Haven. One scene.
Ladies and gentlemen of Mickey's, welcome to the stage, Ms.
B. Haven.
Ms. B. Haven.
Do you know how many drag
If
queens?
those hands are pumping. for
Yeah.
Miss
There's
B.
probably
Haven.
many drag queens with this name.
Yeah, Miss B. Haven. Oh my god. And like B, like BEA. Yeah. This is like B, like it could be Beatrice, Ms. Beatrice Haven.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. That's her full name. That's her Christian name, Beatrice.
Margaret.
We didn't even like Mr. Freeze's jail cell with his wardens.
And he's carted in an old-timey refrigerator.
Yes, it is a refrigerator with the freezer door taken off. But his warden one of them is
Jesse Ventura.
Jesse Ventura.
Governor of Minnesota, right? I think it was Minnesota.
Arnold was buddies with him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the crazy thing is,
Predator.
both of the guys that brought him in, I'm assuming the other guy was a wrestler as well or something, fighter, because they're freaking huge. And I don't know,
Is it his double?
Probably not. Is Arnold tall?
I think he's just
Or is he just
I think he's just over 6 foot.
Just big?
I think he's just
6'1"
big.
or something.
Yeah. Jesse Ventura and Ralph Moeller. I don't know who that is. I don't think he's a German-American actor and former Mr. Universe.
That
Yeah.
tracks.
So they had to get dudes as big or bigger than
Right.
Arnold.
And it helps that Uma Thurman is a tall bitch.
Yes.
And she's in these giant spike heels.
Yeah.
I love that look when she busts Freeze out of prison with the Spice Girl.
That's with the Scary Spice hair?
Scary Spice hair.
Yeah.
I love that wig. A lot of really good wigs on Uma.
Yes.
They got her some really good lace fronts.
Yes, there's some really good wiggatry in this movie. And makeup jobs and costumes. She's just kind of
I do
amazing.
think that for her last iconic look in the flower that she emerges from,
Yes.
I would have liked to see her cheeks be a little more cut.
Yeah.
I think that you could probably buff out those cheeks a little bit.
You're looking for a cut crease. Yeah, I think they were trying to go for a little bit more of a natural look.
Just something subtle.
Yeah. Jeez.
Oh, sure. Okay, Dylan. Now I know what eyebrows you're talking about. Is the glued on prosthetic?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think those are really cool.
Yes. And I never noticed those until 4K.
Yeah.
It's giving me a little She-Ra.
It's very She-Ra, but it's almost like a mask too, like almost like Batman or like Robin's mask. They're like appliances.
That
like
was her
applied to
main
face.
image. That was her main image for her character poster. Was that
okay.
look? And also, Pete, did you notice her glove? Her glove have like
Nail tips. Did it have nails?
colored nail tips. Yep.
Yeah, I love that. A glove with a manicure.
Even just the photos on IMDb are just like a visual journey that you go on.
Yeah, her color combination of just like red and green just like contrasts really well.
That shot of her in the glasses,
With the sunglasses on.
like
What is that
straight
shot
up, like she's walking the main stage on RuPaul's
What
Drag
is
Race.
this shot from? When was she wearing sunglasses?
That was when she comes back, where she said, "You go, I'll rescue your snowy bride."
Your snowy bride.
And then she comes back and she says, "Batman deactivated her."
Yes.
I mean, that's
Bam
Poison Ivy
Johnson.
daytime.
Yeah, that's a day walking.
She's just picking up her laundry in that.
Her
All right.
takeout.
Yeah.
Her curbside
Curbside
pickup.
Oh. What have we not covered in this?
I think a big
Coolio's in this?
he
Oh, wow.
he's the bike gang
Yeah.
guy.
The banker.
You have to pay Coolio to be in the race.
The banker at the bike race.
We were noticing all of these Warriors rejects that are in this bike race.
The like Mozart gang.
There's like the Warriors gang, and then there's all of the
Powder
Gotham
Wing
City. They tried out for Warriors, and then they just didn't get the call back, so they ended up in Batman and Robin.
They had to go back over the bridge into Gotham from Manhattan. Or they're full on just clowns. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I like that they gave Mr. Freeze his little crystal music box of Mrs. Freeze to just stare at longingly in his jail cell. Or did he whip that up? No, he didn't have his powers. He couldn't have made it.
I think it hints that he probably chiseled it,
Sure.
and then he had that mechanism, and he made that.
Sure.
So a big thing that I want to discuss is that I think kind of when you look back on this movie now, I think what's super cool about this movie is that these are not the type of comic book movies that are made now. And I think that they just have a lot of charm to them for that reason, that these are movies that do not get made now. You never see comic book takes like this anymore. That you could just take the campy elements of a superhero and just run with it. And I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
I think it was. I think you're right. It's of its time. I was trying to think of how the family thing plays into it, which is basically Guardians of the Galaxy's whole theme. Is all these people that have nobody or orphans or whatever end up as a family, and this is like the exact opposite of putting the family together.
I do have to say, I think the elements of the story that do not work are the Alfred and Bruce and Dick elements. Just kind of, when they try to be sincere in this movie, I just don't think it works that well.
Yeah.
But I think when it is just flamboyant and over the top, then that's when I think the movie is really in its element.
Yeah, I think so too.
And also, there's definitely a lot of flack for this movie, primarily from straight fanboys, that these movies are too gay.
Yeah.
And I do have to say, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Because I think that kind of at its center, Batman and Robin is kind of gay. And it just sort of takes the obvious and just runs with it.
Yeah. Because the idea of just like a billionaire playboy having a teenage ward is dated.
Batman doesn't really have an interest for women. He just wants to hang out with his hot 20-year-old boyfriend.
Dedicated bachelor.
Yes.
Does she call him that?
Confirmed bachelor.
Confirmed bachelor, yeah. Friend of Alfred. That's too much.
Card-carrying friend of Alfred. Yeah, I feel like Robin at this point can just get an apartment.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he has a sugar daddy.
Although, if I'm Robin and my acrobat family was killed by Two-Face, and Bruce Wayne / Batman took me in, and I aged out of the system and just became like a 21-year-old, I wouldn't really have that much motivation to get my own place. I'm living in Wayne Manor.
I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
You
he's
have access
like
to all these classic bikes.
he's like Bruce Wayne is like sugar daddy goals.
Yeah. So you got Alfred there to like gas up the bike when you need it, make you some scrambled eggs. You can do your like karate laundry in peace. This movie needed more.
life.
This movie needed more karate laundry. I'm just saying, it didn't have nearly enough.
Or some other karate chore.
Yes.
Like karate dishes would be
Oh
fun.
man, there's so many
It
opportunities.
was probably left on the cutting room floor.
A big '90s vacuum. He could have just like karate the shit out of some vacuuming,
True.
sweeping.
Karate dusting. Just dust everything with a whiff of your foot.
Yeah, missed opportunities for sure. Chris O'Donnell would have loved to have done like the training for it. This is before the Matrix, so he wouldn't have had any of that like Matrix envy. But he could have told everybody that he did 6 months of karate training to prep for this movie. Much like Keanu.
But what I'm going for, and just why I really kind of like this movie, is I think there's something to be said that this movie wears its campy heart on its shoulder.
True.
That this is something that you just don't really see in today's movies. Because like everything just has to be so serious. You have to have this built cinematic universe. Like they're rebooting Batman again for like the 5th time, and it just looks just that image of Robert Pattinson. I'm excited for the movie, but it just looks so dark and serious that I think there's something to be said that this movie just really kind of has fun.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that's missing from the Zack Snyder movies, is that it's okay to make a comic book movie that's fun. And whenever Joel Schumacher he gets kind of flack from this movie, and even as they were making it, he would be like, guys, remember, it's a comic book movie. It's supposed to be fun and over the top.
Yeah.
There's joy.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's definitely fun stuff going on in the Marvel universe,
Oh, yeah, definitely. I was mainly just like where the DC properties are now.
Yeah.
And
Batman movies in
But that said,
they're very dark.
I guess that Aquaman, there's a lot. I think James Wan really gets the tone of Aquaman, and that's a good fit for that movie. And even Wonder Woman sort of came out of that, came out of everything that didn't work from Dawn of Justice.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. I mean, everything about this, from like the costume design, the visuals, the scripts, everything's over the top. Everything's crazy, and it's a different take on.
It's a weird singular vision that only a movie like this could have gotten made in 96 and 97, that a studio trusted to hand off a comic book movie to someone, and this is what came out with it.
Yeah.
And also,
Yeah, the emotional stakes are really low. I was thinking about when Superman and Zod are punching up all of Metropolis.
Yeah.
And there's hundreds of thousands of people dying.
Yeah.
And then Bruce and Dick don't mind baiting all of the elite just to get Freeze, putting them in harm's way at the gala. I didn't even think about it until at the end. I was like, holy shit, wait, those are citizens there. That's like the richest people in Gotham. And they're like, well, we just got to get Freeze here. No problem.
what I like about that charity auction is that's something that you would see straight out of the TV show, or just special charity appearances by Batman and Robin.
Yeah. Invites, invites to like official events.
They cut the ribbons on open supermarkets
and banks.
Toys R Us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they're just these weird civil servants.
Yes.
That they're kind of like a police captain or
they're
something.
They're clearly working with the police in this, and in the TV show, they're working with Commissioner Gordon. Whereas, in the Nolan movies are working outside. He's working with Gordon, but it's outside of official, means. But in this, it's straight up like he's practically on the payroll.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, and that's super. I mean, come on, that's tongue in cheek, but yeah, I agree that the tone of this is just so over the top and just so self-aware that we're not seeing anything like this in comic book movies. And there are so many comic book movies now that it's like I feel like we have the freedom to make subgenres, and there's kind of doing that like in Marvel,
and also kind of in DC, like with Shazam.
Yeah, like Ant-Man movies are more like heist movies, and Shazam is more like like a kid teen movie and things like that. So we're able to kind of branch out and within the confines of a comic book movie have different little subgenres and stuff. We never really gotten to that point, but this movie kind of started its own little subgenre of just high camp for the sake of like.
And also,
fun, high camp.
We should mention that the Nolan Batman movies do have a lot to thank from all of the backlash of this movie, because it weren't for this movie not being well received with fans,
sure,
the Nolan movies wouldn't have happened. That pretty much the Nolan Batman movies are everything that these movies are not.
Yeah.
Too. And those movies ended up winning acting Oscars. So it's almost like they went from the low point with a fan reception and they just did a complete 180.
Yeah.
Too. And sort of you needed something like Batman and Robin to get there.
Yeah.
Do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, I see that. When was
production on the Nolan movie came in 2004, and also there was failed attempts, or they just got stuck in pre-production and they never got out. Darren Aronofsky was supposed to do Year One in the early 2000s, and it just didn't come together.
Yeah, that was never going to happen.
Mm-hmm. So, and then Christopher Nolan made Memento, and then he got a big contract with Warner, and then he ended up rebooting Batman for him.
So what do you think of all of the, there's like these stories of, George Clooney just disavowing this movie and saying that he'll give you, $10 out of his pocket if you tell him that you paid to see this movie, and, Joel Schumacher apologizing and like all of that. I feel like today Joel Schumacher would not have an apologetic standpoint.
When you listen to the commentary where he apologizes for that, he still stands behind the movie.
Yeah.
Of when he does the commentary for this movie is really fun to listen to, just because Joel just has a lot of tidbits about making it.
Yeah.
And he just seems like a really cool guy. And he just said, I signed off on this whole movie. So if you have a problem with it, don't take it up with the screenwriter or the actors. Like, I'm the one who's at fault.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry that you had high hopes and I didn't meet them. That's what the apology context was.
And doesn't he also say, too, like, say what you want about the marketing department and
he signed off on all of it.
Yeah, and the studio notes and all of that. He's like, I directed it and I'm an adult.
And he does, like, he's very forward of, oh yeah, this movie's production just got out of control. That, like, there was too many people wanting to have an input in this movie, and it just got too much at times.
Yeah. But, I mean, I don't know. At the end of the day, I think it's an enjoyable watch.
Definitely. And it's a movie that I still like to go back and revisit. I am still obsessed with every single scene Uma Thurman is in this movie.
And
I think her looks are so fun. They're colorful. And it's just a really fun role to see her play.
Yeah, that's for sure. I feel like Chris O'Donnell has a lot more to do in this than in the last one.
He's very pouty in this movie.
He is very pouty in this movie, but I feel like Teenage Scott was not mad at that. He had a lot of vest work. He had a lot of good, button-down vests.
97.
Yes, with a white T-shirt underneath.
A lot of good butt shots in that suit.
Look. Yeah, some of the
Chandler Bing look.
Yeah. I think I definitely had a vest phase. I'm still going through a vest phase.
Any final thoughts on Batman and Robin, guys?
2 ears up. Two very long ears up. There we go.
Very pointy.
It doesn't sound like the right comment I'm trying to make. It sounds two bat ears, two bat thumbs up.
Two bat wings up. Oh, man. I think, it's a camp classic. The costumes are amazing. The dialogue is amazing. The delivery, the acting. It's a mess, but it's great. It's fun to watch.
Mm-hmm. It's so watchable.
It's the best Batman movie.
Yeah, Batman.
Pete, you have yet to play my favorite clip of the movie.
I mean, I was going to play us out with it, but I mean, I can play it right now because it's a pretty iconic line.
As I told Lady Freeze when I pulled her plug, this is a one-woman show. I don't think so.
Yay! I did a screen cap of that on my Instagram the other night, and I posted it.
Of the entire scene.
Mm-hmm. Or of just that line.
Yeah. It's a great line.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great line. I mean, yeah, icon. She knew exactly what she was doing. She did it well. Poison Ivy. Come on. So good.
Oh, so good.
Scott, what do you have as a final thought on Batman and Robin?
I mean, I think I pretty much said everything.
Yeah.
And I can't stress enough of how unusual of a child I was that I was just infatuated with everything this movie was about. Even though I knew that it was not good, I just didn't care.
It was made for kids.
Mm-hmm.
Target audience.
I still have all the toys.
Yes, we'll definitely do a lineup of the muscular Uma Thurman.
I did not. I think I had both Batmobiles.
Oh, jeez.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. There are so many vehicles in this.
That Batmobile does not look street safe.
The one where it's just one seat, like cockpit for one.
Yeah. With the huge fins, and it looks like sort of a deconstructed iMac.
Yeah.
Everything is lit up inside, and the wheels have spinners. Like the bat symbols don't change orientation; they stay level all the way across. So ahead of its time.
I thought that was really cool at the time. I had never seen anything like that. But I liked
like a bat cheese grater thing.
I liked Val Kilmer's Batmobile because it had one fin in the back. It didn't have the two.
That's right.
You know, I thought that looked kind of cool. But it looked kind of crazy in that it doesn't have a passenger seat. So like if he had to like save Vicky Vale, he's got to like strap her to the hood.
Or yet
like roadkill.
Sit on her lap. I did write a list of the top 10 things that I like about the Schumacher Batman movies. And number 1, they're fully aware of what they are. It's the perfect Silver Age Batman. Number 2, they are a singular vision of what they are. It's just like wearing its camp heart on its sleeve. Mm-hmm. Number 3, Uma Thurman's drag-inspired performance. This was pre-drag as mainstream to audiences.
Yeah.
And this, I feel like, introduced a lot of people to that style. I love Robin's suit, especially the Nightwing look. Great score by Elliot Goldenthal. I think it's one of the best scores of the entire series. Gorgeous set designs, all of the set design of Gotham. Going back to Batman Forever, Jim Carrey's Riddler. These movies define camp is number 8. Number 9, they do not kill their villains, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
In case if they want to go back to them.
Classic Batman.
Mm-hmm. And introduce the first superheroine into the culture. Regardless if it was successful or not, it had not been done before. And I think that Captain Marvel kind of, even before Captain Marvel or Black Widow, I mean, all we had was Alicia Silverstone's Batgirl and Helen Slater's Supergirl. I mean...
Until Elektra, the superior...
Yeah, and who talks about Elektra? And that's one of the things that even if you give these movies a lot of grief, they're not the worst DC movies or superhero movies. There are far worse.
No.
Yeah.
Like, just try sitting down and watching Daredevil, the Ben Affleck movie.
I'll take Daredevil over Elektra.
Mm-hmm.
Elektra was just like a long Evanescence video, whereas Daredevil at least had wasn't Favreau in that? I feel like it had good people in it. Yeah, you're right though. Batgirl is She's an icon. She's the first. Yeah, I think we covered this.
I think we did.
Crazy, this nonsense movie.
Well, Pete, it's been 50 episodes.
50 episodes. I can't believe.
Are there any?
We did 50.
Are there any favorite memories of the podcast that we've had so far? Any particular episodes or movies that stand out?
Dylan being on both Batman movies. That was
one
super
of my
fun.
One of my favorite episodes was Batman Forever.
Yeah. Yeah. These two.
Me too.
Yeah. These two have been crazy episodes. Lot of fun stuff. A lot of love talking about movies.
Mm-hmm. Well, hopefully we can do it with guests here in person sometime within the year. Like, even though this shows are fun to record off of FaceTime, it's even funner to do it in person.
Yes, indeed. This is for true. And hopefully we'll get plenty of our guests back in when social distancing is lifted in the future. But this was a lot of fun. Thank you so much, Dylan, for coming on again.
You're welcome.
FaceTiming us from up the coast. We will. I hope we get to hang out soon, friend.
I'd like to make it up.
Can I leave you with my? I'd
like to make it up there.
My Mr. Freeze trailer.
Yes.
Can I practice?
Please.
Okay. Batman will watch his beloved Gotham perish. Bundle up, boys. There's a storm coming.
Wow,
Nailed it.
That was really good.
Love it.
Delayed response.
I can edit that. I can edit it.
Oh, perfect.
Start it faster. Wow. So that was actually really good.
Thank you.
Not even lying. Oh man. But thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you. Miss you guys. Love you guys.
Miss you so much. We are turning these out. We are creating content in social distancing and like Miss Rona fever. So these are turning out like we are busting these out with like zero turnover time. So this will be on the air super duper.
Our guests
soon.
for next episode are going to be really good. We're doing a podcast crossover.
Podcast crossover. Well, that'll be on the socials soon enough. Everybody out there, you can follow us on social media at Movies That Made Us Gay on Instagram and Facebook, and we'd love if you would rate and review us and follow us on iTunes,
MTMUG Pod
on Twitter, and give us 5 stars while you're on iTunes.
Write us a review.
We'll
do something special for you on air if you write us a review. I don't know what yet, but we'll figure something out.
Show you our tits. Show you all those nips.
Our bat nips.
All 4 of them. Thanks.
Put nipples on the podcast.
We do whatever we want, man. We didn't have sponsors to answer to.
Nipples on the podcast.
That's the Patreon content right there, my friend. For $1 a month. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Well, I don't know about Batman and Robin, but I love money, yachts, and mansion.
Mansion. It's already underneath the mansion.
It's underneath the mansion. I had a rough childhood, okay? I wasn't watching Batman and Robin.